applause.
Come on down this way, folks. Come on down this way. Come on down. Get close together like you like each other. How about that? Come on.
Yeah.
By the noise in the room, I know you know each other and like each other because a lot of you have been friends of mine for a long time, and I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you for your support and your help in this campaign. I want to say thank you to all the host committee, the senators and Bill and others who have, and Bruce Danmeyer, our county executive here in Pierce County, for hosting this event. It's gone quite well. And the campaign is going exceptionally well. I'll give you a quick update of what's happening. As you know, the 8th Congressional District is one of those 23 seats that Hillary Clinton won that a Republican currently holds. And so Nancy Pelosi really thinks it's her pathway back to the speakership.
Oh,
what do you guys think of that?
No!
Apparently, yeah. I'm in the right room, apparently, yeah. So I've been going 8 to 12 hours a day since September. I've actually been doorbelling for about 4 months. It's kind of funny when you show up with universal name ID and go, "Hey, I'm Dino Rossi." They take a half step back and go, "Yeah, you are." Yeah. But I was doorbelling over in South Cle Elum. I can tell this story. South Cle Elum, which is, not the big city of Cle Elum, it's South Cle Elum. And I'm going door to door, nobody doorbells in South Cle Elum, right? Nobody doorbells in South Cle Elum. And so, but I'm getting Democrats with my sign in their yard, and they go, "You know what, thank you for coming. Go up to Suncadia for this fundraiser," and the lady who was the guard at the gate, she said, "Oh, Mr. Rossi, thank you for coming to South Cle Elum. Thank you, nobody does that. Thank you for doing it. And you doorbelled my house and talked to my husband. It was wonderful that you were there." And on the South Cle Elum Facebook page, everybody's on the South Cle Elum Facebook page, she said. She said, well, there's a lady that you doorbelled, what she put on the Facebook page was, "Fix your hair, girls, Dino Rossi's coming door to door."
I already heard it, but I think it's
And so, that's the kind of response we're getting. That's the kind of response we're getting out there, and it's wonderful. And I want to say, thank you. We're going door to door, but I have 11 opponents, but really only 3 main ones, the Democrats. They're all trying to outlive each other right now, which is kind of fun, and they're beating each other up. I'm kind of holding their coats while they go at it. But this is the 7th time I've run for office. I've been elected to the state senate, run for the state senate, 7th time. But no matter which one of these 3 that come through, it'll be the most liberal opponent I've ever had. Wow. Which is really good. Yeah. Which is really good. We'll compare and contrast from here to November, and with that, we will win. And when we win this seat, the likelihood of Nancy being Speaker of the House again drops dramatically. We will get there with your help. Thank you. Now, I'm excited to introduce the Majority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, because I was looking at his buddy. When I first met him, I thought, I kind of like this guy. Why do I like this guy so much? And I was looking at his background. He was a young entrepreneur, something I can identify with. He actually started Kevin O's Deli. Now, I don't know why it wasn't Kevin M. You might explain that. But Kevin O's Deli, he had a deli that he started when he was very young. And he ended up selling it so he could put himself through college. Comes from humble beginnings. And then was elected to the Assembly in California, which is like the House here. And the Assembly, but he became leader immediately down there. His leadership qualities obviously came through, which is really rare. It's something that at a very young age he did. He's doing a lot of tough work back in D.C. right now. This is not an easy time to be there. My goal is to be there to help, and that's why I want to go back. But I'm just honored that he decided to come all the way out here to help us. So I turn it over to Leader McCarthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for helping Dino. We're excited about having him join us. We know this is a tough fight, a tough race, but we also know that he is the best candidate for it, and he's a real statesman. When he announced that he would run, so much excitement. He's proven it all along the way. Now, Dino told you a little bit about me, and interesting, I had somebody come up to me and goes, "You don't understand what it's like to live in a blue state," but I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "But to be a conservative?" "Yes, I do." See, I'm from California, but I'm from a different part of California than you think. I'm from a place called Bakersfield. All right? So it's the Central Valley, home of Buck Owens, Merle Haggard. We're agriculture, energy, and aerospace. And I actually grew up in a family of all Democrats. I was the first Republican in my family. And when I got out of high school, I didn't have the skills of Dino, and my folks did not have wealth, so I couldn't go away to college. I went to community college, which was a great college. But I always had instilled in me a work ethic, so I always had a job. I met this guy who owned a liquor store but had a car dealer's license. You can figure out how I met him. But I talked to him into taking me to the LA car auctions, where I pay him $100 to take me. And LA's not far from Bakersfield. And I would go down there because all the dealers would bring their trade-ins, but you had to be a dealer to get in. And I would buy and sell cars, and I'd flip them to pay my way through college. I didn't turn out this well. But I found out later it's illegal, but I didn't know it when I was doing it. And so what do you do when you're away at community college? You go visit your buddies who are away at college, right, on the weekends? So I was going to visit some friends in San Diego State. This is 1985. I go to the grocery store, cash a check, and the lottery had just started the day before. So I bought a lottery ticket. We didn't have lotto, it was scratch off when it first started in California. And I won. I was one of the first winners in California. But put yourself in my place. It's 1985. The most you won was $5,000. But you're 20 years old. It's Friday night. You win $5,000 and 85 money, and you end up 10 minutes from Tijuana, right? So I come back. I take my folks to dinner. Give my brother and sister each $100, and the majority of the rest of the money. You know what I do? I put it all in one stock. Because one thing you learn about me, I'm a risk taker. I do pretty well at the stock market that short period. I decided next semester I'm not going to go back to school. I go out to buy a franchise, but no one will sell a 20-year-old franchise. So another thing you can learn about me is I never give up. So I opened a deli, and the reason it's called Kevin O's because my middle name's Owen. And so I even built the counter in my dad's garage. And for everybody like Dino and others that have been a small business owner, there's 3 lessons I learned that have never left me. You're the first to work, you're last to leave, you're last to be paid. It was really pretty rewarding. I did pretty well. At the end of 2 years, I now have enough money to pay my whole way through college as long as I go to Cal State and would have to work. So I sell my business, I'm going to college, and I read in the local paper, has this article, be a summer intern in Washington, D.C. with my local congressman. I don't know the guy, but I think he'd be lucky to have me. So I apply, you know what happens? He turns me down. But you want to know the end of the story? I now sit in the seat I couldn't get an internship for. Only in America can that happen. Now the question is, can we make sure that continues to happen? I'll tell you, doesn't it feel different the last about a year and 8 months?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you realize that we have been living under 2% growth that whole time during the Obama administration? You know how bad it was during the Obama administration? If you take the very worst, the lowest year under Bill Clinton was higher than the very best year under Barack Obama.
Right.
But we just hit 4.1, something that no one said could do. But it didn't happen because nothing happened. It happened, we had a change administration, we have a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate. So you know the first thing we did? We looked at what the Obama administration was doing. And most of the regulations don't come from Congress, they come from these agencies. There's no check and balance. What they do, if an agency proposes a new regulation, they'll score it, meaning what would it cost business? If it reaches 100 million, they call it a major ruling. You know what we averaged for the last 5 years? 82 major rulings. Not 82 major rulings in 5 years, 82 major rulings every single year for the last 5 years. So there's this law in the books called the Congressional Review Act that allows you to repeal a regulation in a certain time frame with a majority of vote in the House and a majority vote in the Senate. But it's only been successful one time in history. We just did it 16 times where the president signed it. Then we wanted to make sure the economy would get going. So we went after the tax bill. It's the same tax bill no Democrat would vote for. It's the same tax bill that Nancy Pelosi, who wants to be Speaker, said would make Armageddon. And for every dollar that people got back, this is actually their money, not government, that would be crumbs. I think the world looks different now. Because there's one fact that I like to always state. In the last 49 years, unemployment has only been below 4%, 7 months out of 49 years below 4%. Wow. And 2 of those 7 months were April and May of this year. Wow. 49 out of 50 states, your electrical bills are lower. Your water bills are lower because of this tax bill. And what's best, the younger generation, they've never lived through an economy this great. The VA, we transformed it. Now you have a choice, the ability to go out. The VA also, a GI Bill would only go for 15 years or you lost it. Now it's a lifetime. We invested in our military when the last administration was cutting it 20% because the world was not becoming 20% safer. But you know what the difference is too with the new president? North Korea now sits down with it. North Korea is now dismantling some nuclear weapons. But you know what's most important? We're bringing our men back. 55 of them just Nobody paid a ransom. That's the difference what is happening. The worst part of why this is so important, that would all reverse. Nancy said she'd raise your tax, she'll abolish ICE, and then what she'll do? She'll impeach the president. That is not productive of what we want to go. We want to continue to grow. We've got a lot more work to get done. And so when I see people like you that are willing to take this and willing to get behind Dino and put on the hard work, I want you to continue and finish all the way through the tape. But when he wins, I want you to come back to DC. And when he does, I want you to come into my office because I believe in a purpose-driven life. I believe in really why we are here for the first place. And in my office, I put up artwork to always state. I want to just tell you really quickly, I'll give you one point about these three paintings. First of all, in my office, I keep two of my favorite presidents, Abraham Lincoln and Ronald Reagan. Good start. And you know what those two people would say if they were here today? Lincoln would tell us to believe in the exceptionalism of this country. We are different than any country before us. The reason why I think Lincoln would say that is the Gettysburg Address. Less than 270 words. He wasn't the main speaker. You all know it, 77 years, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated the proposition that all men are created equal. He goes on to say, but if we fail, government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from earth. You see, our greatest strength is not our aircraft carriers, it's our idea of our country, that the power rests with us. No other country has been created with the idea of liberty and that we're all equal. In Saudi Arabia today, if you're a woman, you just now got the right to drive. But you know when it hit home the most? Shimon Peres, he has since passed away, but he's 92 years old. He's president of Israel, and he was sitting in the rotunda where we're giving him a medal. And he looks at us and he goes, you live in the greatest nation that's ever been on the face of the earth. He goes, you know what your greatness comes from? Not what America takes, but what America's willing to give. That you'll give the ultimate sacrifice of your own life for another country's freedom. With that freedom becomes human rights. That's who we are. We don't need to apologize for who we are. We need to lead. There's a reason why when America leads around the world is safer. You know, Ronald Reagan, he'd tell you, if you believe your policies bring people more freedom and liberty, be happy. There's no reason to be an angry conservative. Be a happy conservative and more people will want to know what you're drinking and want to be a part of it. That's who Dino is.
Yes.
And then the last portrait reminds me of all of you. It's in my conference room. It's 8 feet by 16 feet. It's Washington crossing the Delaware. You've all seen the painting, right?
Yeah.
Washington rowboat. Do you know the story behind it? See, that took place Christmas 1776, right? So there's no camera, no phones. But the painting wasn't painted until 1850, 1851. It was painted by a German immigrant, Emmanuel, who lived in America at a young age and moved back to Germany. He wanted to inspire the Germans for a revolution about the freedom that America had. You see, he didn't get it right, but he wanted to paint it in a vision of what he thought happened that night because he lived in America. So he put 13 people in a rowboat. Why? 13 colonies, right? But you only see 12 faces. He put them in a rowboat with Washington did not cross in a rowboat. He put Washington standing up in a ceremonial uniform because when you look at him, you think, that man has probably never lost a battle. We had never won one. That was our first victory. We were surprised that happened. But what you want to see is who's actually in the boat. And that's where you come in. When you go home and Google it tonight, you look at the second rower beret, he's Scottish. The person directly across from him in the green jacket is African American. You come down the boat in the red jacket is a woman, and the very back is a Native American. I don't know if they're all on the boat that night, but to Emmanuel, that's who he believed would be there. But the person I want you to look at is the second to last, the farmer. He has his hand across his face. That's the hand of the 13th person you don't see. You see, what this young immigrant was saying is, here we are as a new nation. an idea that we can govern ourselves, having never been done before. And we're willing to risk everything for freedom and liberty on our holiest of night. Here's a hand, would you get in and join us? That's as true today as it was then. That's what you're doing tonight. Do not assume we can do this all by ourselves. You got to get in the boat. And the point I make to all my members, notice they're all rowing in the same direction. You don't do that. History plays against us in this election. The party in power normally loses seats in your election. But 2 times in modern history, it was reversed. And I think America is ready to have a 3rd time in history for that. Come on. Dino is one, when he gets there, he'll go to the freshman orientation, but he won't need it. The reason why he should go, because he'll be leading. And he'll be leading a lot of other people as well. You've watched his character. You've seen what he's able to accomplish. Now it's right that he comes to Washington, along with you, takes your values, and helps lead. We need his help. We need your help to get him there. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, I just want to say thank you once again for everybody to come. And there's still food, right? And beverages. And enjoy each other's company. And this is something, talk about running through the tape. We are going to run through the tape. We're going to run as hard as we possibly can to make sure that this happens. And I know you're all with us, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you. And I also want to mention one more thing. There's no way I could do this without the greatest blessing in my life, my wonderful wife, Terry, right over here. I also have my oldest, Juliana's going to have our first grandchild. She's over here. And my son-in-law, Patrick, and we have our son, Joe, who's running around here, and then our son, John is right here, and our youngest, Jillian, right there. We have the whole family because it's my son, Joe's 22nd birthday today. And we're going to take him out to a birthday dinner. Yeah. Thank you very much. God bless.
So Dino, where do we put the money?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
where do you put the money? Well, actually, these ladies right here, Tessa, and we have envelopes
Envelopes on the table.
on the table, so please grab one. And I guess I'll do the money. I guess I'll do the money pitch this time. I'm not done my own. Well, I tell you what we're doing. Let me tell you why it's important, right? Because as soon as there's one Democrat, they're going to dump a ton of money in their campaign. Right now they're fighting with each other, but as soon as there's one, there's money that's waiting to be dumped in. And if we have enough money to tell our story and defend ourselves, we're going to win. That's plain and simple. That's one of the things is I'm going to keep doing the effort, you're going to keep doing the effort. But whatever you can contribute, the maximum an individual can contribute is $5,400 and a couple is $10,800. And I know a number of you have done this already. I just want to say thank you for that. The amount that you can contribute is obviously whatever it is you can, please do. It all is really going to go out to get out the vote effort. And it's not just going to help us, it's going to help all the legislative candidates within the 8th Congressional District too, because when they're in the booth voting for me, or when they got their ballot voting for me, they're going to go down the line. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just helping the 8th, me in this district, it's helping all the candidates. Like Senator Fortunato over there, see? Yeah. It's helping him as well. You know, we're getting great support from the state party. I didn't mention that Caleb Heimlich is our state party chairman. He's here tonight. Had a chance to talk to Caleb yet, please talk to Caleb about whatever it is you need from the state party, but they've been very helpful to our effort. And but so many of you have been helpful as well. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you all.